Hi guys. I've been thinking about patterns, and I love doing patterns. For one thing, it's just relaxing to me to sit down and do a bunch of background papers and pattern papers. So I thought it started getting me to thinking about patterns, your patterns in life, patterns, what we've been through with COVID crisis and all that. So I thought, let's just sit down and do some patterns. For those of you that like jelly prints, you can even do your patterns on your jelly prints. But I thought I'd just make a few and show you, some of you that aren't used to doing a lot of pattern work, that you can use anything. This is ink that I got from Book and Paper Arts on IG, Instagram, and it's a pretty staining ink, but I notice it does reconstitute a little bit. And then I'm just using the cylinder of a tape, like when tape's gone off a packing tape, then that cylinder makes a really neat circle, makes a really neat circle on your paper. And this is PVC pipe. It is, my husband was cutting some off outside. We were having to repair something, and I started gathering it up out of the yard to use it inside. I like it because it's got a thicker width on it. And the first one I did, I used a spray ink and then acrylic. This one, I'm using watercolor. I'm just showing you the different mediums you can use. Whatever you have on hand, it doesn't matter. You can practice on paper and do the actual background pattern on your sheet, on your journal, or you can do papers and lay them down in your journal, or you can just make a bunch and cut them up and collage them into your journal. But this is just an easy flower that I do sometimes for background, and it's you swipe your brush one way, and a round brush works better for this, and then make 3 stripes in the middle, 3 short stripes in the middle, and then just do a swipe over the top. And then you get some green and you make leaves, just put green on the bottom each side. The round brush makes best leaves because you leave a point that way. Anyway, I was thinking about patterns and how our patterns have all kind of been disrupted in the past year and a half. So I thought we might do patterns on a background and then write your patterns, how your patterns are affected, how you want to change patterns, how you want to make new patterns. Just something I'd like to sit down and think about. And this is deli paper, and I just took a little square brush. I got a little bag of brushes for $5, and I really like them. Can't remember where I got them at Walmart, I think. Anyway, I really like the way they are. They probably aren't real good brushes, but they work for what I wanted to use them for. And this above here that I'm using now is gouache, and with my round brush making circles. And gouache, from what I understand, is really an illustrator's favorite paint because they can block in color better. And I heard somebody that did gouache say, if you're going to use gouache, why use it like watercolor? Just use watercolor. But it's just different. It's kind of got a chalky finish, I think. And not all gouaches are alike. You need to kind of decide what you want if you're going to go into using gouache. This gouache I really love because it reconstitutes real well, and I can get thicker paint off of it, and it wasn't expensive. It's the brand is Montmartre. I got it off of Amazon. I got some Arteza. I'm not real fond of Arteza. It doesn't reconstitute real well. It gets real hard when it dries, so I like it best used right out of the tube. So then I'm using some, I go back to some acrylic with the pink. And then that pink marker is a Sharpie. Sharpies work for everything. They're great. This is a Molotow paint pen. The blue and the dark burgundy color are Molotow markers, paint markers. And I think the white one that I use is, it's called Gator or something. I don't know if it's a paint pen or a chalk marker. I use chalk markers a lot because I have better luck with them. But a lot of times you'll have to use a fixative on them because you can wipe them off. The paint dries and you can't wipe it off. So now I'm just doing a background with the gouache. And you can mix watercolor, gouache, acrylic. Those three mix real well. I wouldn't use oil pastels. They never fully dry. Even when you set them with something, sometimes they tend to stick. Any water soluble though is mixable. Like if you have Crayon Dash 2, I believe it's 2 that's a water soluble. I've got some watercolor pencils here and some non-watercolor pencils. I really like watercolor pencils to add accents at the end, even over acrylic. They work really well to wet them and make marks. And this is back to acrylic for this background. I like circles. I'm a circle nut. There's so many ways to do circles. This is an eraser. I used to get these big pink erasers at DG, and I don't know if they stopped making them, but you stopped being able to get them there. But I used to get them and cut them in half and carve both sides. And this is kind of a rose that I carved in this one. And I like to swirl it, and sometimes I let the background dry and swirl on new colors. This one was a little wet, so just trying to show you guys the different things you could do. So the pattern didn't come out real well, but if you let it dry in between, you can add different colors and things. And it's really one of my favorite things to use for patterns. You get some real definition with, get your pink and then you go back after it dries and do a white or something. You can really see the design in it. I just made a swirl design. It ended up looking kind of like a rose. Kind of like when you do potato prints. I always use all of these, no matter what I do to them, because I like to do collage, and I've been doing a lot of collage lately, so I always use my papers up. I always have lots to use, though. This is the watercolor pencil. This is the Sharpie that I'm using here. And this is a foam, just a piece of foam. That came in a bag full of these little shapes. And they're great for stamping. Then when it gets too messed up, then I can just toss it. And this is a cork. And I have a bunch of them that I just carve in the end. And it's not, they get dry so that it's not going to be a precise pattern. But I like to use them. They're fun to use. Fun to see all the small things you can do with them. Then I covered this one that I had with Payne's Gray, acrylic, and I'm using the big white. I think this is a tape circle too. And it's got a wide base, wider base. I use white on it, white acrylic. So the blue's dry now. And I just got a paintbrush, and I'm just touching my paintbrush to the page with color. And look at the ends of your paintbrushes, because every one of them will give you a different, even if they're real fuzzed out, each one will give you a different mark. So they're really good just to touch to the paint and then touch to the paper. Gives you all kinds of different... Oh, somebody's outside shooting something, so we have that a lot. But all your brushes, kind of delve into them and see what kind of marks they make, because you can just do these kind of touching marks and it makes really nice papers. And just have fun with this.